There's a healthy population of black bears in the Tofino-Ucluelet area, but this year, more than most it seems, there have been a much higher number of interactions with people that end up in death for the bears.
Tofino-Ucluelet area has seen an increase to 250 calls so far this year versus we only had 60-something last year. So it's a huge increase.
BC conservation officers have had to euthanize 10 black bears in this area alone so far this year, and they're blaming human food, garbage, as the reason.
Part of that problem is always the same. Unsecure garbage gets them into the area, fruit trees, and then they start breaking into sheds and garages to get at that garbage. And then they start going into houses.
One big difference this year was the extreme heat in June and July. It drove many of us to places to cool off, and it sent bears closer to the coast where berries survived longer. But they also went into Tofino and Ucluelet and found garbage as well.
So they can go from an animal that's fairly wary of people, being fairly cautious, grazing on berries in and around the community, to an animal that gradually loses its fear of people.
The biggest issue we have is people putting their garbage out the night before on the street. It's easy access, low risk. The bear's going to get into it, and once he gets hooked on the garbage, or she, how do you convince him it's not to do it again?
And he says they'll be in Tofino and Ucluelet in October, handing out $230 tickets to those who don't secure their garbage.
Everybody knows there's bears everywhere, and we're still having to put down bears despite providing as much advice as possible.
And Bob Hansen says the bears are actually giving us a detailed report card on exactly where we're failing to properly store our garbage.